Hello, my name is Omaro Cadogan, and I'm here to show you how to make really tasty, really easy, and very nutritious dishes, including homemade yogurt. Today we're going to make stir-fried carrots, red spring cabbage and leek with all sorts of spices, and cooked chickpeas, and then we will turn it with some homemade yogurt at the end. So I'll mince the carrots or dice them finely. It's quite important for this dish that the carrots and everything else is slivered very finely and thinly. So whichever way you choose to cut your carrots, make sure that you end up with small cubes or fine slivers. Now, one smart trick in this dish is we're actually going to stir fry without using oil, just using a bit of water. So here I have a deep sauteing pan. You could also use a wok or a cast iron frying pan. You need your pan to be set on high heat because we want it almost glowing red by the time we're about to cook. Now the other way you could slice your carrots, these are organic, so I'll use them with the peel, is if you have a julienne iron like this, then you can get these long, thin, delicate strips. So that's another way. Some red spring cabbage. We'll sliver that finely as well. Then we have our leek. Now let me show you a really neat trick how to sliver leeks lengthwise. We'll just use the bottom part first. So you have your leek like that. Split it lengthwise. Now you can check if there's any dirt in there. And if there were any dirt in here, which there isn't, you just run it under, just hold it under running water and shake it, and then all the dirt will come out. So now we have our leek split in half lengthways. So you take half that, fold it back upon itself, and then you take a sharp knife, and that gets you these long, thin slivers of leek. Top part we can do pretty much the same thing, so we just chop off the boring dry ends, open it up and see if there's any dirt. So there's a bit of dirt in here, and we'll do the same trick. So take these layers, fold them back upon themselves. There you go. Slivered leek, we're going to save these for later. We'll add some ginger, minced. Now try to mince your ginger rather than grating it, because when you grate ginger, usually what happens is that you get all the juices running out onto the cutting board, and all you're left with is the fiber, so you just get this mass that tastes a bit like cotton wool with a hint of ginger, and all the juices have run onto your cutting board, which is not that delicate. So we have ginger. We'll take some garlic. Now, remember to smash your garlic. First of all, it's a lot faster to peel once you've smashed it. But furthermore, that helps bring out and develop the flavor. So there we go. Slivered garlic. And the last thing is we'll take half a bulb of lemongrass. Now, lemongrass is quite hard, but what you do is you tenderize it first. So that makes it easier to chop. It also brings out the flavor. So you simply hammer it. Either just with your palm or using the flat side of a knife. And now it's tenderized, so now I can easily cut it. I can actually smell all the flavor being released. We'll just mince it a bit more. And then you could add one shallot as well. We'll take the seeds from a few cardamom pods, and what happens is when you use the seeds, rather than everything tasting like cardamom, you'll get these little, you'll get these little moments where you taste the cardamom, and then the flavor disappears, so it sort of waxes to and fro. It's like the sea rising and falling, and that gives you a much more whole or a much more fulfilling culinary experience rather than if you were to just add lots of ground cardamom. We'll add a bit of fish sauce. It also helps develop the flavor. And mix everything before we stir fry it. And then we'll throw in some curry. So here I have some really good curry powder. A bit extra pepper. And a tiny dash of vanilla powder, or you could use just like an eighth or a quarter of a vanilla bean. Mix it all together. So we have all these lovely colors, vegetables, flavors, and our chickpeas. So we have our boiled chickpeas. We have all our vegetables that are chopped, slivered, minced, turned with all the spices. Also have some yogurt we're going to add later, and have plenty of water ready. We're not going to use much at a time, but you need enough water. And here's my frying pan. This one is a deep sauteing pan that I've actually preheated for 5 minutes. So as you can see, it's smoking. And if I add a bit of water, it's actually so hot that the water doesn't just evaporate as steam. It actually sits as little bubbles that are almost dancing on the surface of the pan. We'll add a bit more because the trick now is we want enough water that when we're throwing our vegetables, they're not going to burn, but we don't want so much water that they're boiling. So you want plenty of little water droplets. Add your veggies and get ready to stir. And also be ready to add more water, because the trick here is we want the vegetables to actually brown a bit, so I can smell it now that you get the same effect as if you're stir frying, but rather than burning oil, you just have a bit of water and you keep on adding water little by little to make sure that what you're cooking won't burn. but you'll still get the browning. You'll get a bit of caramelization, which of course makes for much better flavor. And as you can see, the vegetables are beginning to become tender, like they would with stir frying, but I'm not damaging an oil. Now that the vegetables are close to done, then add the chickpeas. The chickpeas just need to be heated through, so you don't need to add them at the beginning. And make sure you keep stirring. And when everything's done, so let me just taste a piece of carrot, which is about now. Then you turn off the heat, add about a deciliter of yogurt. Mix it all together and there you go. Bon appetit. Stir fried, should we say stir steamed, stir simmered, water fried, minced vegetables.